Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to my afternoon of stamping. If you are new here, I am Sarah Simon, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I am located in Appleton, Wisconsin. And let me tell you, all of a sudden things are flying here. So I'm happy that I got on time. I didn't think I was going to. I hope everything is set up correctly because I had about I think it said 3 minutes and I was starting and I had to set everything up. So hopefully we are good to go. I'm excited to be stamping with you today. The annual catalog finally went live. And so I was able to order some things that I wasn't able to get in my pre order. And so I am going to be sharing a couple of things that are new to me because I wasn't able to get them in the pre order. And so I know there's a lot of demonstrators who watch me as well. And so I'm hoping that you'll be excited to see some of the stuff that wasn't in the pre order, some of the things that were on my wish list. In fact, one of the things that I got wasn't technically on my wish list, but I got assigned to do this suite of products for a suite, and I had to do 4 cards with it. So I had the stuff on my list, and I forgot that when it got changed, I forgot to take that out. And so I ended up, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning when I placed my order because I wanted to make sure I got some things that I needed for my Stamp-A-Stack. And I did second day air delivery on it. And so anyway, long story short, I got this stuff. So I'm like, well, I might as well play with it, right? So I'm going to be making a card, a fun fold with that. And so I'm excited to share with you today. I did get some happy mail. Oh, I have one thing in my, I have to go get it. It's in my, I'll show it at that. How about if I show all the happy mail at the end? Because then I'll run to the kitchen and I'll get that. So you don't have to wait for me right now. Somebody who was in my card buffet ended up bringing me a card today. And so I was able to, I forgot to bring it in here when I was all the hubbub of having to get here to go live. So last week we played with some new products as well. So we did made this card right here. Oh, I love this paper. Um, and I made a couple of other cards with this paper this week because I just absolutely loved it. One of the cards in my Stamp-A-Stack used the paper from a couple of the papers from this. So, and again, I embossed the back of the envelope flap for the person that's getting this. And this is going for commenting last week. So if you're new here, anytime you place a comment, you get put into a drawing. You all get assigned a number, and then I randomly pick a number, the computer does, and whoever's name was assigned to that number ends up winning one of the cards. So receiving this is Lori Workman. So Lori, I do have your address and I will get this off in the mail to you this week. And then for sharing, so anytime you share on social media or really if you share anywhere, please write in the comments that you shared like Linda just did on YouTube. And let's see if anybody, Mary's on Facebook. Finished washing all my windows and screens so I can relax and watch you. Oh, Mary, you want to come over and watch my windows and screens? No, I'm just kidding. But well, good for you. But anytime you share, like Mary just wrote, liked and shared, you can be entered into a drawing to win as well. And so we made this fault line. Remember, I said I had no idea what that was, and it's all based on a cake. The decorating thing, I guess. But receiving this card for sharing last week is Julie Black. And Julie, I don't think I have your address. So if you could send me an email at createwithsarah with an H at the end, LLC at gmail.com, and just send me a private message or a private message on Facebook and let me know your address, I will get it in the mail. And then I did do a drawing for all of you who placed orders. Several people hopped on after the catalog went live and placed orders. And I have a pack of these 2025-2027 in color flat pearls, and they really are nice and flat. So they go through the mail very nicely. And winning these is Tammy Marquardt. And she was actually here for my card Stamp-A-Stack this morning, and so I ended up sending them with her because it saved me on postage. So this is what they look like, and she already got them. Oh, you do have a lot of windows, I think, Mary. If I'm picturing your house correctly, you've got a nice big window in the front. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have to do that yet, but I'm probably gonna do it when I get back from Florida. I don't think it'll get done before I leave for Florida. All right. Since I'm going to do my happy mail at the end instead of at the beginning, I think we should just get stamping. I have more ladies. I have three ladies coming this afternoon at 2 o'clock for the last group that's coming for my Stamp-A-Stack. Since I couldn't do Sunday because of Mother's Day, I decided to do two today. So I had some people here at 8 o'clock this morning, and I have others coming at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if I get done early, I can go ahead and grab something for lunch before then. All right, let's go ahead. Let me change my camera. Hopefully this will work. Oh, look at that. Magic. Oh, but it's blurry. Oh, I think it'll clear itself up once it's on there a little bit. I'm going to turn my overhead light off. That'll get rid of those shadows. Okay, so got it. All right, I can now show you the inside of the catalog so we can actually open it up today and take a look inside. If you haven't received one of these and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, shoot me a message and I would be happy to get one of these in the mail to you so that you can take a look. I am happy to do that. I just need to know that you need one. You can send me either an email, createwithsarahllc@gmail, or you can send a private message on Facebook to me. I just don't want you to put your address up here. And if you put it in here, sometimes it gets mixed in with all of the other comments that people make. So our in colors we've been kind of taking a look at. And so I wanted to continue to work with some of those, and I wanted to use a color I haven't used yet. We're going to actually use one color I've already used and one color that I haven't. But one of the things that was in the catalog, every year Stampin' Up! Has, they call them the designer series, like the family designer series paper. And so you get, there's usually four different designs because these are two-sided. And what you do is you get different design paper in each of the colors in the family. So you get more of each color. I believe it is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I think you get 4 of each in the in colors, and you get 2 of each in like the brights and the subtles and things like that. So these are our patterns this year, kind of this, we're going to be using this striped kind of muted. I don't know if it looks like it's hand painted. And then look at the other side. Oh, florals and little greenery type things that will look really, really nice. So we've got Strawberry Slush, Cloud Cover, Secret Sea, Timid Tiger, and Darling Duckling, which we're going to be looking at Darling Duckling today. You guys know that I love yellow, and I have to say I love, love, love this yellow, the shade of this yellow. I wasn't sure at first, and then I started using it, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, I like it. It's kind of darker than the Lemon Lolly, not quite as bright, a little bit more muted than the Daffodil Delight. Let's see if I have some Daffodil Delight here I can compare it to. I don't have any handy on here. I do, because I have my color coach here. So here's Daffodil Delight. See how that's just a little bit brighter? Let me grab a piece of that's the Timid Tiger. So the Daffodil Delight, it's just a little bit more muted than the Daffodil Delight. Okay, then what we are going to be using, let me get this back in order here. What we are going to be using for our stamp set, I'm going to try to open it up to that page. Because I can, right? I'm going to open it because I can. Did you see this coneflower and wonder what in the world is that? I did. I looked at it, and you know what? I always say I don't need any more flowers. You guys have heard me say that so many times. I do not need any more flowers. But these greetings are the greetings that got me on this one. I love coneflowers, but it was the greetings in here that I was like, I need to have that. Even if I don't use it with the flower itself, which why wouldn't you wait until you see this? But the greetings. I'm always late with birthday cards. There's a happy belated birthday in here. And on the inside, I always say, sorry, I forgot your birthday. I guess I wanted you to be able to celebrate a little bit longer. Well, one of the greetings it says, I'm sorry I missed your special day. Let's extend the celebration. Kind of like what I say when I'm in there, when I send it. But there's a you made my day. I loved this one. I love that I've known you for so many birthdays. But just different sayings that you don't see all the time. And so, and it had a little butterfly in it as well. So we're going to be using this stamp set today, along with some of the paper from our In Color Designer Series paper, because as demonstrators, we were just able to order this now. And as demonstrators, we could just order that this week too. We weren't able to order it before this. So when it came, that's what I decided to play with. And I didn't have these cards made yet last night. And so when the ladies were at my Stampa Stack, I asked them, what do you want me to do? And they're like, oh, you should play with that. I like that. So that's what I decided to do. All right, I'm going to bring in, let's see. So for this card, these are going to be our dimensions, and I'm going to stay on the comments. I didn't get my banners ready to pop the banners up, so I will put the card next to it with these dimensions at the very end. I'll put these up here right now for me to be able to follow along and let you know when I pull them out. So I started with Early Espresso. And this is 4¼ by 11, and I scored it at 5½. So it's going to be one of these cards that opens from the top. All right, then I have a layer of my Darling Duckling, and this is 4 by 5¼ and I have a basic white for the inside. That's also 4 by 5¼ So I have two pieces that are 4 by 5¼ Then I'm using the kind of the striped image for this one. And this measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, and that is going to get layered onto here before we put it onto the front of our card. Okay, then I have a strip that's 5/8 of an inch wide, and this is going to be for me to stamp my greeting on. And then I'm going to just trim it once I have it stamped. And I just give myself, I have all different kinds of strips like this that it's like, I'm just going to pull this out. I'll stamp the greeting. I'll cut it off. I might have a little bit left for another card. Or if I make a mistake, I'll just stamp right next to it. So that's going to be for my greeting. Then I did cut, I have to get a piece. We're going to need a piece of Darling Duckling to stamp our coneflower on. This looks a lot brighter with my lights than it is. It is much more muted than it looks on here. Okay, and then let's look at these dies. Oh, so here's the stamp set. Beautiful, right? I love when they have these little things like this on there. So you can just stamp the flower. You could color it with, you could watercolor it. You could use watercolor pencils. You could use blends. So you could color these things if you wanted to. You can stamp them. You can cut them out. So when you cut out the cone flower, and I'll show you this when I stamp it, because I am actually going to stamp it and I'll show you how this works. But this like folds it so that it can be layered, and it can make it look like it's a little bit I don't know, like two layers of the flower, kind of like how this looks like it's got petals and then more petals underneath it. And then this is beautiful with, and we're going to use this as well. And then this makes the center of the cone flower. So we are going to use that. I was intrigued by this, so I'm going to show you what I decided to do with this little piece right here. I took it from a picture on the catalog, and then I decided to do something else with it as well. We do have the dies to cut out the leaves if you stamp them. But then you can also, instead of stamping them, you can do an overlay with, you can either do the same color or you can do two different colors. We're going to use those, so I could show you those. And then we have our stem. So I'm using everything of the dies except for the butterfly. I did not put a butterfly on my card. So this right here is to cut out the butterfly that's in the stamp set. So we're not going to be using that, but everything else in here I used. And I did die cut some of that already. So here's what that little circular thing looks like. So I don't know why I cut 4 of them. I think because I couldn't find one. And when I couldn't find one, I cut another one and then I found out that it was still stuck in the die. So you really I only needed 3 of those, but I have 4. I did cut this. Look at how beautiful it is. Look at all the detail in there. And then this is an early espresso, and that goes, it fits just right on top of there like that. So look at how quickly that flower goes together. Okay. You could have cut, like, maybe I could have maybe cut a couple of these out and layered them, but I decided I'm going to use the stamp and cut the stamp out as part of mine. I used Mossy Meadow for my stem. Okay, so here's my stem. And then I used in the back, I used Old Olive, and then it's going to get layered. This is not the right one. This one goes with this, I think. There we go. I'm going to layer that with Mossy Meadow. So it's going to have the lighter color underneath and then the darker color over the top. Okay, so those are my 2 leaves. And I cut a lot of this at the same time. All right, so we're going to take this, and here are my stamps. Oh, I did not pack this very well on a desk. So we're going to be using some early espresso, and we're going to be using some Darling Duckling. I think I've been saying the right name. All of a sudden, I'm like, is that what I've been calling it? I think so. All right, this is actually a pretty big stamp. So I'm going to take my ink, and I'm going to bring it to the stamp to make sure that I get good coverage all over on here. And I'm keeping the center yellow because we are going to cover it up with what I punched or what I die cut out. Okay, look at that image. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I just love that. So now with this die, you have to make sure you have it the right way. So if I line it up this way, oh, look at that. I got it right the first time. Okay, so see how it lines up along the bottom. If I flip it this way, there's no way for me to line that up. Okay, because when you fold it, it's actually the back part of it that would line up with this and not the front part. So you would put this through your machine like this. And when you do, what you get is something that looks like that. Right, and this just folds over. Now, if you wanted to, I suppose you could put some greeting on here. I decided to put, and I had not seen anybody else do this. Oh, did somebody ask me if the color is Darling Duckling? Yes, it is. Um, you are going to put some dimensionals in here. I am going to make it so that it stands up just a little bit like that, so it has a little bit of layer. Now, if you wanted to, you could bring your stamp back in here, and this is on this side, on this inside part right here. If you stamped it again and you lined it up, that would be if you wanted to. You didn't really see these that much, so I didn't feel I needed to stamp that. Okay, then let's do the rest of our stamping here. So on the outside, I'm going to use the Happy Belated Birthday. See, I remember birthdays like on the day of their birthday, and then I didn't get the card to them on time. So it's always getting to them late. Day late and a dollar short, right? All right, so I'm going to stand up so I can see this. So just a happy belated birthday. And then on the inside, I'm going to stamp that other greeting. I'm sorry I missed your day, your special day. Let's extend the celebration. Isn't that a cool greeting? I thought so. I liked it. Okay. Paper snips. I might have to go get one on my table. I'll be right back. Grab that card while I'm there so I can show you my the things that came to me, my mail. All right, so I'm just gonna snip that off and snip that off. You could use a paper trimmer if you wanted to as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and put this together. We have everything stamped. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these, and I should have put some adhesive sheets on the back, and I'm just going to line that across the bottom. Pretty cool, right? I'm just going to use it as a little layer. All right, I'm going to take my silicone mat because I don't want glue all over my surface, and I'm just going to put a couple of dots. I was going to put adhesive sheets on here. I thought of it, especially when I was putting the glue on when I made this card, but then I ran them through on a different day. Not different day, different time, and I forgot because they were all on the same day. It was this morning. I got up early and made this. All right, so I'm just going to line that up across the bottom, and then I am going to just trim this just ever so slightly. Okay, it's pretty much 4 inches long, just a tad bit longer than 4 inches. Can you demonstrate the adhesive sheet sometimes? Yeah, Donna, I can definitely do that. I should have just done it right now and use these. Okay, what I'm going to do for this is I thought what was easiest for this was to put a little strip of glue. I mean, just the tiniest bit. You can hardly even see how a little bit of glue I have there? All right, then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm just going to let it so that half of the little circle is showing underneath there. Okay, then I'm going to flip it over. You probably could cut here and put that. I think my greeting was a little bit longer. It didn't quite fit when I did it, when I made mine. So I think I cut the greeting just a little bit shorter. Okay, another little dab of glue. Take this again. Have it so that about half, maybe a little bit less than half of the circle is showing. And I started on the same end, so they look pretty similar. And then all I have to do is cut that off like that. And I have a little design on either end of my label. All right, so we've got that ready to go. We have this ready to go. We have that stamped. Okay, let's put this together. Let's work on this. So I am just going to glue this down. And what I wanted was just, I'm not going to raise this up because it's going to be, I'm going to put the dimensionals in between here. So I'm just going to glue this, and I'm just going to use the center of the cone flower to glue this down to the piece that I stamped. Because now I have So cute. I wondered. Yeah, there's actually a picture, Melanie, in the catalog. So where I got those little circles and where I got that idea is if we go back to the catalog. This is why I love the catalog. Um, and I wish everything was in the catalog because then I have to, for the online exclusives, I have to go to the online exclusives and see what did they do with this. So you can kind of see on this card right here, they just glued a bunch of them down. But then if you look at the pink card here at the bottom of that little celebrating you, and I'm not holding this steady enough so it's not focusing. I'm kind of shaking a little, I think, but there's a little bit of that at the bottom of that label. And that's where I got the idea. All right. So this is just going to go on here so you can see my stamping. You know, I wanted to be able to see the stamping on there. You can see all of the fun stuff. And it's set so that when it lays on top of it, it doesn't lay right on top of what you stamped so that you can still see that. And then we're going to put our little center of our cone flower right over the top of that. And while I'm gluing and I have my mat here, let's go ahead and layer these right away so that we have that done. I see I've got a little, there we go. Now, when I made mine originally, I had the same color for the inside and the outside. And I thought, oh, I think it just needs to be a different color. So I ended up coloring or doing the inside dark, whoops, wrong way. No, that's right. This is just upside down. Um, I ended up cutting each of them so that the dark was the dark the inside was the dark color and the outside was the light color, and then I did it this way. And there were two ladies here this morning and me, and we all decided that we liked the old olive in the center better and the mossy meadow on the outside better. And so since I decided to do it that way, that's why I made the stem in the mossy meadow as well. Okay, so we've got our little leaves ready to go onto our card. We have our stem here that we're going to use. I am going to put just a few dimensionals. I'm going to put one right up on top here. I don't want people to try to open this and see if, because there's nothing inside of it. So I just decided to put a few dimensionals here. And I didn't go all the way to the bottom, because I still did want it to look like it was, you know, like the layers were there and stuff. So it looks like there's still dimension there. See what I mean? You could even curl this a little bit if you wanted to. I just left it like that, but it made it look like it was almost like a little shadow there. I don't know if you can see that. All right. And I, like I said, I didn't have anybody to watch because I haven't seen anybody do anything. And I don't know if they did at onstage because I didn't go to onstage. So I like, this is the first time I opened it up and I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. And so I'm going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella. Oh no, I've got white on my Wink of Stella. Well, let's just add white. I must have used this one in craft ink and I've got white on it. So we're just going to add some white streaks along with our glitter. I can't believe that I did that. I should have this marked that it has white on it. But now we've got not only glitter, but we've got a little bit of white that we we added a little bit more to it than I was planning. Right. I'll show you mine that doesn't have the white, that just has a regular. I should not put that back there so that I don't use that again. Okay, so that is our cone flower. So now we come back here with all of our stuff. I can go ahead. I'm going to take my bone folder and crease that. And we'll put our inside greeting. I don't even know where if you saw how much junk was around me, you'd be like, oh my gosh, how are you working in that little bit of space? Let's just say my stamp room needs a cleaning. That's might be a job for tomorrow. I've got a lot of different jobs that I have to get done tomorrow. I'm taking off on Tuesday, so I will not be live next Saturday. I will be in Orlando. I did earn the incentive trip, which I have to say, I don't always like saying it because I feel like I'm bragging. I'm not saying it to brag, but Stampin' Up! Requires us to say that less than 1% of demonstrators worldwide earn the incentive trip. And thanks to many of you for your orders and for my team. This is the first time that I earned it. And so I will be taking off. My flight leaves Appleton at 5:30 on Tuesday morning, and I'll be heading to Orlando. We'll be going to Disney and having a lot of fun. So it'll be nice to get away before the rush of having to complete my job that I've worked at for 29 years, packing all of that up and sharing my knowledge with whoever they end up hiring, which they haven't done yet. So I'll have to train that person and then starting my new job. So this I like going this way. And I ended up, when I made mine, I ended up just using some glue dots on the tip of where I was going to attach it. Ooh, things are ready to slide off of here. Um, so I put this one, I think I did this. Nope, I did the bigger one, went this way. And this one went this way. And I just took a glue dot and put it on the front. So I won't be live next week. If I can somehow get a video together, but you know what? I say that all the time and then life gets busy and I have a meeting for work on Monday that's supposed scheduled to go from 4 till 6 and dinner's part of it. But I'm not going to say, since I'm leaving, I don't feel like I need to stay for the dinner and stuff. So I think I'm just going to make an appearance and then I'm going to head out. Maybe go get a pedicure before I leave. Um, but I have somebody stay at my house. So in the morning, before I head to the airport, I have to change. So that's just going to go down like that. I'm going to kind of dry fit this to make sure that I have it in the right spot so that my flower, I want to keep these, I don't want them hanging off the edge like this or I'll have problems in my envelope. So I just want to make sure that looks like it's going to be perfect. All right. So I have somebody stay at my house with my dog. And so in the morning after I get out of bed, I have to change my sheets. I have to have everything set for her. So it's going to be a crazy morning, but then I can sleep on the plane. We've got a layover in Atlanta. So we'll have to quickly catch our other flight. And then we're there by late morning already. So I can sit by the pool and relax until Kathy Miller gets there because she doesn't get there till later in the afternoon. Okay, then this I'm just going to put down with regular glue because I put the dimensionals in between the two layers instead. I don't want it to get too high so that it gets expensive to ship. Hi, Mary. Thanks, Gian. And thanks, Mary. Yes, I'm sure I'll have fun. I will post some pictures. And then we're going to put this greeting right down here. And we'll pop that up on some dimensionals. But it worked out because I still had vacation to use at my current job before I start my new job. So it worked out. And I just like really this past week has been absolutely crazy because I got in a whole bunch of classes that I was supposed to have that week. I worked them in this week with the teachers and or the week after I get back. So I didn't drop anybody's class completely. I just worked it in at a different time so that they all still got to have their STEM and we didn't have to cancel anything. Okay, so happy belated birthday. And then we've got that beautiful ribbon in our in colors, which is the Darling Duckling. Oh, and this ribbon, guys, oh my Lord, or ladies, whoever's watching, I guess. This ribbon is really nice to work with. I just wanted to tie it in a little knot instead of a bow. Okay, and we'll trim that. It just lays a little bit flatter on my card in a knot than it does a bow. And I'm just going to cover up where this label and my stem kind of meet here and add a little ribbon there, just a little something. And then, of course, we've got these pearls that are, what do they call them? Flat pearls. Just gorgeous. And we've got them in the Darling Duckling color. So I'm going to take, there's 3 different sizes. So I'm going to add one of each size. Okay, come on. I might need more putty in here. Let's see. So you twist these and the putty comes out. And then when you want it to stop, you untwist it. If you've never been able, someone asked me, they're like, I don't know how to get the putty to stop coming out because they had it twisted tight. I'm like, if you untwist it a little bit, it'll stop coming out. There we go. I'll put one there. Goodness. I really do need some new putty. This is really, I'm at the end of it. It wasn't coming out anymore. We'll use our little spatula instead. And I'll pop one there. And we'll put the little one maybe, whoops, it stuck to my finger up there. All right. Maybe want to put it down here. It might get lost up there. There we go. So there is our first card using our Coneflower Celebration. And I will put this right there. And you can take a screenshot if you want. So you have all of the dimensions of what I used there. And again, this is the Darling Duckling. It's one of our new in colors with the new DSP. Stamp set is called, I don't want to get in your screenshots, it's called Cornflower Celebrations. Okay, and it has, that's what the dies are called as well. And I'm going to put this die back in here because that's a main one. I don't want to lose that. So the only die that we didn't use again was this one right here, and that just basically cuts out the butterfly. All right, so there's our card number 1. Oh, you know what? I did not come up with anything for the envelope. So let's do this. Let me take this right here, and let's just stamp this coneflower. Right down in the corner. There we go. Just do that. Just a little bit of it, just to add a little bit. Oh, and I got something there. I'll get that off with a sand eraser for whoever gets that. All right, let's close this up. That is our card number 1. Thank you for those of you that are saying you like it. I had fun playing with it. I wish I would have had more time to play with it instead of being under a crunch. Not gonna lie, but okay, then let me get this out of here too. That'll give me more room. And these and this. All right, for our next card. So I participate in a swap with a bunch of demonstrators, and we're all given a suite of products, and we have to design 4 cards and then make them for everyone. And I did not get my like, this is my favorite one or anything like that to the person who organizes it. in time. So there was only one sweet left. And so that was what I was stuck with. And it was my own fault. Um, but then they decided to add some of the sweets that were in the online exclusives. And I said, can I possibly change mine? And so I ended up taking the Thankful Garden instead, because that way I could get them done. I have mine all designed. I'm just in the process of making them because they're due on May 30th. And with not getting the product until now, I've worked on them the last couple of weekends. But what I originally was assigned was this boho vibes, which it's not that I hated this set, because I mean, there's some cute things in here, and the paper is really bright and bold. And to be honest with you, I walk into a lot of gift shops and I see rainbows all the time in these colors. And so I think it's something that's very trendy. And Stampin' Up! Does pretty much follow the trends of what you see in clothing and gift shops and all of that kind of stuff. And so I really think like even these little patterns and stuff that they have in the rainbows, I did mess around with that a little bit. So you can like cut these out and then layer them to make some funky little, I just followed that exactly. So I didn't make anything up. But I was playing around with it and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So we are going to do a fun full card and we're going to use that product. I'm going to let you make some of the decisions in our card today. And I'm going to be using another one of our in colors. I'm going to use Secret Sea. And instead of pairing it with Cloud Cover, because everybody's pairing it with cloud cover, I decided let's see what else we could pair it with. So I'm pairing it with petal pink because those are some color combinations that are in the paper. So let's take a look at the paper first. So we have these really bold. So the colors in here are Cajun Craze, the Secret Sea, the Cloud Cover, Mossy Meadow, Daffodil Delight, and Petal Pink. And we've got different rainbows. These almost look like maybe like little raindrops almost coming down. Um, this is interesting. We're going to be using this possibly if that's what you pick. Okay, so I've got a couple of different choices that you can pick from. Oops, I got two of that one. Um, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of them, and you end up getting you end up getting 4 of each one, I think it was this time. I gotta remember. It should say right on the back. 48 sheets total. So you would get 6 of each one, right? I think I have them all there. And then on the back is much more muted designs. Okay, so I might have missed one, but I don't think I did. All right, so that is the paper that we're going to be working with. We're going to be doing a fun fold, the stamp set and the dies. So here's the stamp set, Sunshine Vibes. Now, I don't use the word darling. I don't use it at all in my conversation. So to me, when I saw that one, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's like we have, people in different countries as well. I don't know if that's a phrase that's used a lot. I don't know. I just don't use it. I do like the sending good vibes. And there's a thanks and a hello, which is nice. This you could make into a sun. There's some different like background things that you could use as well. We're going to use 2 of the greetings, and then we're going to use this little like array type thing here. But I like these kind of things where it adds just like a little bit of texture as well. All right. Then the dies I have inside of this one. So the dies you can cut out. So for this one, I cut out the rainbow this way, and then I built something on the inside of it. And I actually took the piece that I cut out and I built this right on that piece. Right? We're going to use this one right here where it cuts out the pieces and you can put something behind it. And then you have all of the little pieces. So you've got this one right here. You've got the 2 branches. You've got this one that kind of looks like the edge of a Coke bottle or something. You've got this zigzaggy one, this polka dot one, and then you've got some hearts, some stars, and then you could interchange. I think it was these 2 that you could interchange. So a lot of different choices for that. And I think we're ready to go. So let's see. This is a fun fold. And so let me see. Here's my directions again. So I'm going to start with what looks like just a normal card base, and I'm using Secret C as my card base. And this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4.25. And then it says cut off 2.5 inches from the right side of the front of the card. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that and actually do it for you so that you can actually see it done and know. Oh, I forgot. I'll show you the gems when we get to that part of the card. So I want 3 inches left here, and I want to cut off 2.5 because this is a 5.5 inch wide. So you can do this one of two ways. You can put this in, I said to cut off 2.5 inches. So you can line up, if this is the right side of my card, I'm going to line that up at 2.5, and I'm going to cut down until I get to that score line. And there are little lines on the side so that you can see where your blade is. I'm not completely in my track. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go down until I get to that 4.25. And I can see here that I'm lined up with 4.25. Then I'm going to put this at 4.25, and I'm just going to cut down until I get to that line. And you can kind of feel it give. All right. This you could use for something else, a die cut or anything like that. All right. And so our card, I'm just going to, because this was scored and then we cut over the top of it, sometimes it leaves just a little bit of a edge that actually I'm going to take my bone folder. It can get rid of that. If you take your bone folder and just kind of rub over that, it will help to get rid of that. There we go. So our card is going to open up like this rather than being a normal opening or opening card. All right, then I have for the inside, this is 4 by 5.25. That's just going to go right in there like that. So as you can see, part of it's going to be shown. All right, on the left panel, we are going to use some petal pink, and this measures 4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, and the DSP on the left side. Now this is where you get to have a voice. You get to pick. Pattern number 1 is going to be this. Okay, that's pattern number 1. I'm gonna have you wait so you can see what we're gonna be doing with all of it. Pattern 2 is going to be this. So we'll vote in a little bit. So don't vote yet because you're gonna have to see what's gonna go on top of it, okay? So we'll come back to that. All right, so that's the DSP, 3 7/8 by 2 5/8. So I cut 2 of those so we can decide. Then we're going to have a piece that lies over the center and just leaves, we're going to put a greeting down here, but it's just going to be attached to this left side, and it'll move up and down with when we open that up. So the center piece for that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I did cut out that rainbow from there. All right. We're going to eventually layer it on a piece that's 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. But before we do that, before we put that on there, we're going to put some DSP behind it. So this is going to be pattern 1. So I'll put it behind it so you can see. So we're going to vote on this first. Okay, so we're going to vote on this pattern because it might decide, once we decide on that, you might change your mind for what the other one is. So this is pattern 1, is all of these little lines like that. Pattern 2 is that. It's got little dots and it's got lines and all kinds of things in there. So you let me know behind our rainbow, do you like pattern 1? I'll show it again. That's pattern 1. or do you like pattern 2? And again, we're going to be layering on some petal pink. So vote for your 1 or 2. And then while you are voting, I'm going to do some stamping. So I'm going to not put this down because if I make a mistake, I want to be able to pull it off. All right. So what I'm going to do is set this here so that I can see where I have to stay. I want to stay over here, and I'm just going to use the little hello that was in that stamp set. So on the outside, what they're going to see is the rainbow and this word hello. I did a pretty good job. If I do say so myself, pat myself on the back. All right. Then I'm going to use the sending good vibes. And again, I'm going to lift this up so I can see that I keep it inside. I don't want this to be unlevel here. I want to see that I keep it in between there and sort of center it between there. And I'm going to do the sending good vibes. Doesn't that stamp such a nice crisp image? I just love it. Okay, then I'm going to take that little ray of sunshine thing, and it's right here. And since I've got petal pink that I'm using, I'm just going to put that up here in petal pink. Sending good vibes, right? I did do it on the bottom on one of them too when I was messing around, and I wanted to be able to have a place to sign my name. So I decided just to leave it on the top and not do it on the bottom as well. Okay, so let's see. We've got, oh my goodness, lots of votes here. Uh, I'm gonna show you what's decided so that then you can vote on the second one. So 2-1, 2-2-2-1, 2-2-2-1, 2-1-2. Okay, I think the 2s are winning. So we're gonna go with 2. We're gonna decide on 2. If you didn't get a vote or if 1 was your vote, I apologize. Okay, so this is what we went with for our 2. Okay, so now, and that's gonna get layered on here so that we can see that pink. Okay, now you have to decide between 1, so that would go there, or 2. Okay, so I'll do it again. Do you want this side to be 1, or do you want it to be 2 for the second one? Okay, I got to figure out who I ended with. La, 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 la. I'm gonna start with, oh, I don't know, Nancy, if you were 2 for this one or if you were 2 for the last one. I know for sure, I think Diane Borman was, okay. I think we're starting with Nancy or Diane. So on mine, because I can see Facebook and I can see YouTube. So, all right. So let's go ahead and start putting this together since we know that our rainbow is going to be in this color. I'm going to just add some glue around the edge. Sure I am. And I really don't have to get all of those. As long as it's attached at the edge, I might just throw like some of these that are a little bit wider. I just put a dab here and there. But that's all you really need. All right, I'm going to bring in my, sure I am. Here's my silicone mat that has my white glue on, or what do you call it? Wink of Stella. All right, and I'm just going to set this right on here. So it's basically the same size that I cut that. I maybe took off a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so just so you wonder, if you wonder what those are. My silicone mat I like because I can just peel off all of that glue. And even this will come off when I All right, and then I did cut out one of the die cuts, cuts out 3 hearts. I thought it would be fun to put one of them here and one of them down there so we can carry it from the top to the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to put one by my hello, and I'm not going to use the tiniest one. I might set it aside and use it for something else, but I felt like that was the only place that I really wanted those. So I'm going to take a glue dot and set that there. And I think I'm just going to use a dab of glue on this one. My glue is almost out. Sometimes that can be a good thing because it doesn't come out as fast. Sometimes it can be a bad thing because you're trying to get it to come out, and then all of a sudden it comes out and you're like, oh shoot, now I got too much. All right. All right, this is going to go on here. I'm going to let you continue to vote, and then we'll take a look at what we've got. Okay, so I did this just 1/8 of an inch bigger, so it's just a 1/16 of an inch, so that pink is just popping through there a little bit, and that's what that's going to look like on here too. It's just like 1/8 of an inch difference. So let me go back and take a look here at comments. So I think I said I started about by, let's see, here we go. Okay. 2 for both, Nancy said. Okay, so I've got Nancy on there twice. So that means Nancy was 2. So I've got 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Oh my goodness. Let me count the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me look. All right, I think that the ones might have it. If I look at both Facebook and YouTube, I think the ones have it. So one was this one. I made mine with 2, so I'll be able to show you what it looks like. For those of you that like 2, I'll be able to show you. Ooh, look at that. I don't know, I like this. I like the color better. And that's, I did think about doing one of the muted ones in the back, but all right. So we will go ahead and put this on here. And then on my comments, I can see both Facebook and YouTube. Now, most of the people are on YouTube, but we do have some Facebook people, so I'm adding them all together. Okay, and I didn't glue this down yet. I just glued that heart on there, so we can go ahead and add this. This is considered a fun fold because it's not just a normally opening card, but it's a super easy one. It's just cutting a portion of the front off to give you just a little bit different look. So when we open up our card, what we see on the outside, we still see on the inside. For this, you just always want to be careful when you're signing it to make sure that you stay in this area or just add something to the back. All right, and we're going to pop this on there like that. And we'll do that with some dimensionals. Make sure I'm on the correct side. And then I'll put this right there so that I don't put them over too far. Pull all those off. we go. So this opens up like that. Kind of a fun, bright, cheery card to send to someone. Then the gems that we have for this, the bling, these are called muted palette dots. So there's Mossy Meadow, there's the cloud cover. That I think is supposed to be Daffodil Delight because that's the only yellow that's in here. And then we've got the petal pink. So I'm going to use the petal pink. Now, these are not like the pearls where they're flat. These are a little bit raised up. So know that it's probably going to cost you a little bit more for shipping if you use these, but I'm going to put one right there. And then I think I'm going to put one of each just up in this corner here. Just like that. So it pulls up like that. And there is our sending good vibes. Let me just cut a piece off of here. Let's see, what did we end up using? We'll just use this one. We'll use something different. Right, we'll decorate our envelope with that. So we've got more of those same fun colors. So for those of you that wanted that on the inside, we'll go ahead and put that on the outside of our envelope. So we've got still the same type of colors being carried through, even though it's not exactly the same. You could do exactly the same if you wanted to. I just took whichever one was on top. And where did my scissors go? I had it to, here it is. Just had it to take those gems off. And I'll show you what the other paper looks like on the left side. And then you can see if you like it better with the number 1 or the number 2. We did number 1. Okay, so there's an envelope to go with that fun card. That's, I mean, really sending good vibes with this fun, colorful card. Here is the one that I did. I did instead of the heart, I did a blue star instead. And then I put the pink dots on top of it. And then that's with the little swiggly lines. So those are our samples. Here is our first card again. Okay, so this is where I got the white on it by accident. This is without the white. All right. And then this one you can see I just used Mossy Meadow for both of them. And this one I used Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. So you can decide what you like better if you like to have it. And this one I have my labels a little bit longer on this one than it is on the one that we made together. So there are our cards. Let me bring in my happy mail. So while I was when I went to go get a scissors, I ended up picking up this. I got this card from Sarah Marquardt. She was thanking me. She was sick last month when we had card buffet. So I put her cards together for her so that she still had them. And so she was thanking me for that. And then she also, um, oh, I had a little Easter treat, a little bunny bag that I gave filled with candy for each of them. So she was thanking me for that. And then I don't think I shared this one. I did this fold a really long time ago and I kind of forgot about it. I got this from Donna Dupner. Donna's on here. She says, "You're utterly amazing." And when you open it up, it opens up like this. And then this folds up like that. And I remember making one a long time ago, but she uses that border die that is in the online exclusives and this otter paper and the otter suite of products is all on the last chance list. But what a beautiful card. And she was just thanking me for all I do. So nice to get a little surprise like that in the mail. So that was my happy mail for this week. And we've got the new catalog again. Let me come back to you here. All right, I think you can hear me again. I will not be live next Saturday unless I can get a video together, and it would be a live, not live, if that's how you call it. Oh, show dimensions for card two. Thank you, Donna, for reminding me. Let me go back to here. Here, let me do that again. Here we go. So there's our card two. And there are the dimensions. Let it just get focused here. It should focus again. I'm moving it a little bit. Come on, get in focus, phone. That looks like it's going to be as focused as it gets. I hope that's okay. I think if you take a screenshot, you should be able to see that. Okay, it's getting a little bit better. Okay, so those are our dimensions for that second card, which is a fun fold that opens up like this. So if you want a picture of that, so that you can see it opening up that way. I will also take pictures and change the thumbnail. I had forgotten to do that one week. So last Saturday, I changed the week before and that Saturday because I realized I hadn't changed it. Okay, so there's there, and then I'll come back here. All right, there we go. So I will not be live next week unless I can somehow get a video together before I leave, but then I will be going live the weekend after. No, I won't. That'll be Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend. I'll be going live on Tuesday that week after, and I will leave a notice on my Facebook. And if you are in YouTube and you're not on Facebook, if you just go to my channel, it'll show you when my next, and you click live along the top, it will show you when the next live video is going to be if I have it made. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for all your comments. Thank you. I will have a great trip. Thank you guys so much. I'll post pictures on Facebook for those of you that are on Facebook so that you can see our little adventures. But thank you guys so much. Yes, and happy Mother's Day to everyone. Um, Hopefully you will have a wonderful day tomorrow. Pressure's on for me because I'm the only one home this year. So I get to spoil my mom all by myself. I get her all to myself, I guess you could say. So I guess I'm the one that's going to be spoiled. I don't have to share her with any of my siblings. Yeah, I hope that you guys all have a wonderful Mother's Day. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks so much for joining me. Find some time to be creative if you can, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.